We need to move on to something else now. Let's look at this issue of the appointment. Over 200 board chairmen and over 1,000 members of different boards done by the president. What's your take on this list that came out recently?
I understand, you see, on that very list.
Let me take that again. Let me take it again. A list recently came out. Over 200 chairmen of different boards, and then over 1,000 members of these boards. Now, in that list, there were those who were concerned about some whose names appeared there who have passed on. What's your take?
To start with, and I want you to understand about that list, is still where we are today. You see, because of the kind of environment where we find ourselves, and that is the more reason why people are looking at it critically that way, because you have to ask yourself, some appointment were seen to be a kind of political appointment for people to be in position and all that. And I'm so happy that we should not be looking at that kind of a thing. The most important thing is this, and like you rightly said, because where you are leading me to is talking about some dead individuals that are on the list. No doubt about it. And those dead individuals that are on that list, all I want to look at it critically is, it is that list, from what I understand, and even the comment by some of the aides of the president, that the list was prepared sometime in 2015 and all that. And because of that, that is what happened. But the key issue is this: whatever kind of list that is prepared or that is produced, what needs to be done ordinarily when the directive for that document to be published should be, was to embark on a periodic, or rather, so to say, a study to confirm about the presence, the position of those individuals. But because such documents are documents that are there over time and all these things, and that is the more reason why somebody who probably a directive was given to now acted that way.
Dr. Samaila, I'm going to come in here because people have raised serious concerns with this administration about administrative incoherence. When you look back over the past 2 years, there have been incidences. Like, for example, in the Senate, we had the face-off between the DSS and the EFCC over the confirmation of Magu, whether Magu was capable of being in his present position. The DSS, one agency of the same executive, gave a contrary report to even what the presidency was saying. Now we have a list come out with dead people on it, and the argument or the rationale behind it given by the presidency is that this was a list formulated 2 years ago from an old SGF. We have a new SGF now. Why wasn't this list vetted? If we say that it's important that the people that manage the boards of our government agencies, that this is a priority, how could we allow a 2-year-old list to come up without any new vetting?
Well, thank you so much, Ajuri. And I must tell you that, yes, in every situation, there are other sides of the situation. Why am I saying this? Yes, no doubt about it. These understandable errors or whatever, but I want to believe that those in charge will have to take a very proactive means, that Nigerians are indeed very, very awake and aware of development. So in other words, for any document, for any action, for any statement, for whatever that needs to be done, there ought to be a proper search, a proper records and all this. There is no doubt about it. I totally agree with you on some of the things that are happening and all that. But I want to look at it critically, that this should serve as a challenge. And this challenge for those involved in this responsibility to say that such kind of development should not occur again. And they should work towards, handling such things, because it doesn't all go well. And then I want to believe it's one of those things. And as time goes on, such things will not repeat itself again.
At what level is this addressed? Because I didn't even mention Mainagate, for example, when we talk about administrative incoherence. At what level is that stand taken, and how is it actually driven into implementation?
Thank you very much. You see, that's what we're talking about. And I'm so happy with the question when NATO talked about vision. Every establishment has its own vision. Every establishment has its own vision. You talked about the DSS and the EFCs or whatever. Every establishment has its own vision. And once the staff in that establishment key into the vision and all this, there is what we call interagency collaboration. There is within intra-agency relationship and inter-agency relationship. And those agencies of security or whatever that are there are expected to have what we call intra-agency relationship.
Now, Dr. Samaila, before we go to break, I'm going to ask you to answer very briefly. Do you believe that the president is failing to achieve interagency collaboration within his government?
Well, I'm not the spokesman of the president, but based on what you are talking about, looking at the way things are, I want to look at it critically that yes, not that he's failing. Maybe it's things that has to do with managing the situation. So, and that managing of the situation requires that yes, there should be more proper coordination. Because when there are gaps where the units supposed to meet together, it doesn't solve things at all. So those various arms of angle, or various coordinating units and all that, because of the basis of interaction, because of the basis of engagement, because of the basis of having a mutual focus in achieving the best for the system, for the governance. Because after all, what is the purpose of government? The purpose of government is to serve the governed. The government is not a different structure on its own. The government is there for the governed. And so by doing that, so there must be that mutual understanding, mutual cohesion, mutual harmony. So whatever part that is there, they need to understand that they are not serving their own personal interest, but rather the interest of Nigerians. And if you are serving the interest of Nigerians, whatever inhibitions, whatever needs and do's and don'ts that need to be there, need to be clearly stated. And that's the more reason why the kind of embarrassment we saw really happened. But I want to believe this year, 2018, is a year that all those minuses should be forgotten, and what should be thinking should be more pluses as we move on in this year.
Dr. Samaila, that's an optimistic view to end this conversation. We just want to thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily and sharing your insights. With us has been Dr. Mande Samaila, a dean with the National Open University of Nigeria. We're going to take a short break. Stay with us.